Hi, this is Gloria with stampwithgloria.com. Today I'm going to show you how to use our new blendability markers, give you a couple of tips on how to get them done. I'm going to use the set called Giggle Greetings. I picked this set because it's probably the easiest one to teach on how to use the markers. The designs, the artist on these designs put in the shading, so it's already there. So when we do the shading with the blendabilities, it'll be really easy for you to figure out what you're supposed to do. So I'm going to stamp the cherry bowl on a piece of paper here. We're using the new Memento pad. It's in tuxedo black and it's a permanent pad. Permanent, very permanent. It is not going to bleed or run at all. So once you stamp your image, you should be ready to go. It does need to dry just a second. I found the other day when I was a little too excited about using the blendabilities that it takes just a second for it to get dry. So you want that to happen. So let it dry just a second or blot it off just like I did there. The first set of blendability pens that I'm going to use is the Daffodil Delights. Now, as you can see, there's a light, dark, and darkest color. Now, in the Daffodil Delight set, we've got the Daffodil Delight name on each marker. Okay, and then it goes from light, medium to dark. Okay, the reason Stampin' Up! Made packages of these markers in certain color categories is that it kind of takes the stress out of Copic markers and what markers you should use in order to do your blending and your coloring in. So these are alcohol-based markers, so they dry rather quickly, so there's a very tight cap on here, and you want to make sure that you cap these up after you use them. The other thing about these markers, because they're alcohol-based, it's like if you took rubbing alcohol, rubbed it on your hand, it evaporates real quickly. Well, the same goes for when you put the color on the paper. It's going to evaporate quickly, so although we get some really beautiful color, and let me show you what the finished card looks like. We get beautiful color. We don't necessarily get that vibrant pop of color that we're used to with our watercolor markers. Okay, so that's not a bad thing. It looks really cool when it's done, but there is just a little bit of a technique to do it. Okay, so we're going to make this card, and let me show you how you start coloring this bowl in. Now, you're going to start with your lightest color first. And anything that's transparent, like the blendability pens here, you want to start out with your lightest color first, because you can never go darker, right? Everything is light, and then you can get darker after that. Make sense? Okay. So, I made the whole bowl light because we want that light highlight to pop it, you know, and make it look really awesome. So let's say the light's coming from this side, the right side of the picture. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take and pull some darker color. This is the medium color in on the top of the bowl, and this is going to be nice and shiny and bright yet, right? And then we're going to take and we're going to pull some color down there, and then the base of the bowl should be dark, and I'm going to first color it with the medium color, and then I'm going to hit it with the dark color to make it an even darker look. So now I'm going to go to the dark. Okay, now the cool thing about this particular image is the artist put in the shading already. Now the shading is where you want the darkest marker to be. See how that starts to make that bowl pop? So what you're going to do is you're going to color in the shading, and then the bottom of the pot will of course be dark too. See how that's starting to come together there a little bit? All right, love it. So I want to make the two blue stripes in here. So we are going to take the same thing. We're going to start with a light colored blue, the lightest color of the blue, and this is the Coastal Cabana set. So we're going to just take and we're going to color that whole line. Don't worry that you colored in some yellow already. It's okay. We'll just cover all that up. It'll be fine. All right, so we take the lightest color blue, then we take the medium color blue. I just have to look and make sure I've got the right one. And we're gonna pull that to almost the center of the image here, okay? So then our darkest color, that's our shading, right? Okay, so our darkest color blue is gonna come in and it's gonna stay just at that shading area. Okay, so see how that's popping and making that bowl stand out just a bit. The middle is nice and light because that's the shiniest part of where the light's going to shine down. So we're starting to look real good here. Now we're going to do the cherry cobbler set. Okay, so this is the lightest part of the cherry cobbler, and on the marks it does say light, medium, and dark, so there's no confusion whatsoever about what goes where, but this is the lightest. Okay, so we want the cherries to hit some light, right? So because the darker shading's over on the side, all of this nice open beautiful white area we're going to hit with the lightest color. That makes sense? Okay, because that's where we want the sun to concentrate the most and give us those shadowing. Now the middle one, I'm going to pull that back here. The middle one, now we're going to touch just the top and maybe down the side a little bit on each cherry. We want that nice light open color to be just reflecting light and looking awesome, okay, to make those cherries luscious and yummy to look at. So I'm just putting light on the top because the bottom of the cherries will reflect the sun and just pop a little bit more. Okay, and I just colored in some cherries that I didn't hit before. Whoops, there's one over here. Woohoo! There we go. Now, here's the final touch. You're going to take the darkest color and look, that artist is so awesome. We're going to pull in the shading with the darkest color. It's on every cherry. Isn't that awesome? Look at that. Look how you make these cherries pop in that bowl by putting in the darkest color. Don't forget any of the shading because it just makes. Now look at that. Look at that pop. Don't you love it? Okay, I'm going to take back the blue again. Now this time I'm going to go from the lightest to the darkest. I'm going to skip the medium color blue. Okay, so I want to do a little shadow down here because remember how I said the light was shining in this way? Okay, so we want to do a nice light shadow underneath the bowl. All right, now watch me take the darkest one, color this in. Yeehaw! That looks like there's a nice shade going underneath the bowl. All right. Now the last marker I'm going to take is the Old Olive Blendability marker. And I found that the brush end with that little skinny tip is the best to just hit the cherry stems with. I don't like the thicker end of the other end of the marker. I do like that nice thin little tip on the Old Olive right there. Okay, let me show you the finished card. I used one of the new paper packs. Isn't that cool? And then bordered it with the cherry cobbler. And we've got Sometimes Life is Just a Bowl of Cherries, just a nice feel-good card. And our blue cardstock here, our Coastal Cabana cardstock is what we're using here. I hope you like this demonstration. I have another video that came out using a different style of artwork where it's using the Fox stamp set. You should see that pretty soon. But stay tuned for that and see how easy it is to get some great looks with our new blendability markers. You can buy all these products at stampwithgloria.com. Thank you and have a great day.